Hi everyone, thank you for coming to our biz ed earlier today. Michael, you gave a great presentation. I love the part about the history of how management has changed and the theories around it that are going into being a 21st century leader and some of the challenges. Can you tell us some of the key takeaways of what these...
Yeah, it's interesting, Ryan. People talk about management and management challenges within the organizations. I think they have to look at a larger context. We're trying to look for that silver bullet that's going to solve it, and everyone's talking about employee engagement as being that silver bullet right now. But you have to look larger. If you look historically what has shifted in terms of management research, as well as corporations, as well as the trust that corporations have with their employees. The last 30 years, also 40 years, you've seen a big shift from service businesses, from manufacturing and ag that used to be the dominant businesses. So the way we manage in those old industries doesn't work in a service industry.
Sure. I think another interesting point of the talk today was on transparency and kind of the different levels of transparency and when you should be using those certain levels for different types of employees. And
employees are smart, and so they know what's going on. If your company's just lost their biggest client but no one's talking about it, if your business is growing or closing offices or going to transfer into new offices, people know. You just have to share with them. It's like people keep these secrets that then break trust, because at the end of the day, 21st century management is really about building collaborative work environments, which start with strong relationships, and strong relationships start with trust. And so without transparency, without building strong trust within the work environment, it's going to be very hard for people to compete. And they need to build collaborative spaces. And people want it, employees want it, and it's going to give them that competitive edge.
Yeah. So lastly, one or two things that the audience can take away today to help build their collaborative work environment in their office. What are those two things?
A collaborative work environment, as you know, there's 7 key areas. We've been building businesses for 20 years. We've identified 7 areas to assess how well an organization is doing in collaborative work environment. Organizations need to assess all 7 areas. There's a tendency to go try to solve one of those issues. So for instance, communication may be an issue, so they try to solve communication, but they're not holding people accountable. There's no clear goals, there's no clear vision and purpose. People don't have work-life balance. People don't feel like they can take risk and be innovative in the organization. And so you're trying to solve this one issue, but it's more systemic than that. There's other challenges going on. So as a leader, the takeaway is make sure you're looking at your organization from a whole and from the 21st century perspective, because what employees want and are expecting from the workplace are much different than they were in the 20th century. And leaders who understand that and can change the way they're leading will really have an impact on their team, which will then have an impact on creating profitable, sustainable businesses.
Got it. So really assess, what I'm hearing is assess the current issues that are going on in those 7 key areas, and then think about yourself as a leader and how you can go out and
then start changing and evolving. And there's going to be times you're doing better in some areas and not. But without an assessment, how do you even know what you need to work on?
Yeah.
You may be working on stuff that employees think are fine. And so it's really through that assessment process as a leader, you know what's working, what's not working, and then what's your game plan to improve that work environment.
Well, thank you again, Michael. That was an amazing presentation today, and we hope to see all of you at our next Biz Ed coming up. Thank you.